Hello everyone, Locksmith Eddy here, coming to you live right here in sunny South Florida. And today we're going to make a key for an Aprilia scooter. This is an Aprilia scooter ignition switch. As you can see, this is the pin that locks down the fork. We have the face here along with the electrical connection in the back. We did find out that the key is a TMC1. So you can see the key goes right in, but naturally it's not going to turn. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to make a key for this. Now there's several ways we're going to make a key for this. One, we can actually look down in, well, matter of fact, we'll have to use this. We can look down into the keyway right there. Let's see, and you can see the wafers down inside. Okay, but what we're going to do, for all intents and purposes, we're just going to go ahead and pull the cover off. This cover just pulls right off, and that will expose the face of the cylinder. We may use a tool here. We can take a look down in there, and as you can see wafers. It's a double-sided wafer lock. All right, and what we're going to do now is we're going to pull off the back of the switch so that we can access that cylinder into the back of the lock. So we'll take these, there's two screws on the back of this Aprilia. So we're going to take them off just like that. We're going to set this aside. And before we do, I've already done it, but we're just for intents and purposes, you're going to take a look here to make sure it only goes on one way, as you can see like that. You can see right now the keyway is here to the lock position. So that's where we're going to make sure we disassemble it and then be able to put it back together in that position. So again, so we'll pull that back off. Now there's a plate here. This plate right here, as you can see, that's what's holding the cam down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and pry off that cover right here. This cover comes off, pries off just like that. Real nice and easy. That'll come off. It only goes on one way, as you can see. It latches right down into that hole. And then now it exposes us to the cam and to the pin. Well, we can't seem to get the pin out because this is holding it. So we're going to have to get that cylinder turned in order to be able to pull this apart. So what we're going to have to do right now is we're going to have to pick this to the on position in order to get that thing turned. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of stick that in there like that. It's going to be a little hard to hold this and film it at the same time. Now because it's double-sided, we're going to have to pick it to the right on both sides. As such, a little hard to do this at the same time. Let me get this damn thing straightened out here until we get it turned. There we go. We got it turned just like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that after we had it turned only a little ways, because it's not going to go. You're going to pull that out. You see how that came out of there? Now it's in line. Now we can pull this off and pull this out. Just like that. Now, as you can see down in there, we need to get that, you see that little tab right there? That's the retainer in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to continue trying to turn that cylinder in order for that to come up here to the top. So let's get that thing up to the top position, and we're going to see about getting that all the way up to the top just like that. Okay, you see that right there? It is now in line, and we should be able to. You see the hole right there? There's the retainer pin right there. You can see it. I'm moving it right now. What we need to do now is take a sharp object, stick it down into the hole in order to push the cylinder out. A little hard to do this one-handed. And it comes out just like that. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to take our blank. As you can see, we're going to stick it in there. You can see now these are the wafers. That's the wafer, the lock right there that's holding up. This is the retainer into the back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to the Framon, and we're going to go ahead and do it freehand. I'm not going to go through the Framon book. find the spaces and the cuts. I don't have time for that. We're going to stick it on there, and as you can see where the tip of the key goes, how that, once I pull it out. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Framon and step back each one. Now this looks like a 2, this looks like a 1, this looks like a 3, that looks like a 3, 1, 2. So that looks like the cuts there. That would be from the depths. This one being a flat one would be a number 1. Then it would go on up there like that. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over there to the Framon. I'm going to go ahead and cut this key so that all of these are level. So I will be right back. Okay, we're back now. As you can see, we go ahead and use the Framon machine, a Framon number 2, and now we could actually use a file if we actually have to. If you don't have a code machine or a key machine capable of doing that, you can actually take a file and just file it down until you made a proper key. But for what we did right now, there it is right there. So now let's go ahead and put this back together. It's only going to go back in one way. The retainer goes back up through here. We're going to shove it in, and then there it is, as such. All right, so now we have an operating key to work this lock. Now we're going to put it back together. And to put it back together, we're going to put the this pin back in here. Now it's only going to go in one way. There's a follower here along with the guide right there. So we're going to put this back in there. Let's see which way we're going to do it here. So turn the key sideways so we have that opportunity to see which way it's going to go. We're going to put this right in like that. Now it's spring loaded, as you can see. We're going to go ahead and put our pin back in the side. That's going to hold that down. We're now going to use the key to slide this back into position in order to put the cam back together on this, just like as so. There it is. You put it right back in there, and now you can see the key works right there like that. We're now going to put the cover back on here. This is the cover. It only goes on one way, as you can see that. Push it down. We're going to go ahead and tap that down back on to those studs there. As such, as you can see that right there. You can see the name Z-A-D-I, Zaddy PF385. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the cover back on. The cover goes back on. Since we put the keys back into the same position as we took it off, so now the switch will go right back on. We don't have to twist the switch or anything like that. And as you can see, we'll tighten up the screws. We will go ahead and put the cover back on as such. As you can see, it's back into the lock position. We put the key in, and there's your switch. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. That is an Aprilia ignition switch off of a scooter, and we just made the key to operate that. Pick up the phone, 561-693-8636, and by God, start living that lifestyle of a locksmith today.